Annihilation, the trippy new sci-fi movie from Ex Machina's Alex Garland, is now streaming on Netflix in the UK. On the one hand, that's a good thing because the movie is readily available to a wide range of subscribers who don't have to pay a penny to see it. But on the other hand, it's a damn shame. For starts, Annihilation is gorgeous. Garland creates an incredible psychedelic dreamscape setting which serves to both captivate and terrify audiences. It not only deserves to be seen on the big screen, it outright demands it. It's what the film was made for, but for viewers outside the US and China, we'll just have to make do with a TV, which, even when boosted up to 4K and with the best sound system, doesn't quite do the sci-fi movie justice. The weak box office numbers in North America could justify Paramount's decision to dump the movie on Netflix, and it's easy to see why that in a Hollywood driven by franchises and box office receipts, that studio heads would have balked at an ambitious genre movie like this. That in itself, though, perhaps doesn't give audiences enough credit. With more faith, better marketing, and of course more territories to play in, there's a chance that Annihilation could have made far more than its paltry $26 million intake, perhaps even getting up to the $200 million heights of 2016's Arrival. At the very least, it would have been nice for Paramount to even give it the chance. Because even though it's smart sci-fi with big ideas, and it does get very weird in its final acts, it shouldn't be too out there for many cinemagoers. Although big budget and carrying the name of Christopher Nolan, both Inception and Interstellar made bank at the box office, despite being too clever and too philosophical for many moviegoers. At least that's what the studios would have you believe. So with that in mind, and considering the success of Arrival, it's easy to see a world where Annihilation got a huge marketing push and made a pretty decent amount of change at the box office. The fact that it didn't, though, is part of a recent trend of these mid-budget sci-fi movies going straight to Netflix. With Annihilation being hot on the heels of the Cloverfield Paradox, which was also dumped by Paramount, and Duncan Jones's Mute. The difference between those two is that they're not actually very good, but they're both grandiose sci-fi movies with medium-range budgets. Consequently, if this trend continues, then it looks like the future of mid-budget sci-fi is on the small screen, rather than the big one. You can see an argument for it, because at the end of the day, these movies are still getting made, but there's no denying that the likes of Ex Machina and Arrival benefited hugely from the cinematic experience, surely something Annihilation would have done as well. It does make it an easy win for studios, though, as they're guaranteed dollar from Netflix, and in an era where the likes of Blade Runner 2049 are considered box office failures for only bringing in $250 million, you can see why they're more inclined to not take risks on these ambitious sci-fi movies. It's fewer risks with potentially the same rewards. Netflix can in turn promote these movies to a wide audience, and it doesn't really matter if they're a critical flop, especially because Netflix is so secretive about their viewing numbers. But that in itself presents its own problem, because Netflix have a tendency to bury their own movies. They put out so much content that barely anything lasts in the conversation for more than a week. Hell, it might have been forgotten by the time this video goes live, and further down the line is less likely to be in any sort of awards contention. So we have the studios putting out their big franchises, releasing new sequels, and even taking a punt on a small-scale indie, but the mid-range, where so many of the interesting ideas are, gets shunted to streaming, which is fast becoming the equivalent of going straight to DVD. The last 10 years or so have given us some great sci-fi movies with the same budget all around there as Annihilation. The aforementioned Arrival and Ex Machina, along with Sunshine, District 9, Looper, and, at a slightly higher end of that scale, Children of Men. Not all of them made their budgets back, but all had an epic cinematic release, going on to find bigger audiences further down the line. It's a tad depressing to think then that in 2018 some of those movies wouldn't make it to cinemas at all. The idea that they can find an extended life on streaming is totally fine, but that life should always start on the big screen. So let me know what you guys think about Annihilation and the future of Netflix in the comments below. I've been Josh, you've been watching What Culture, and I'll see you soon.